College baseball, college softball, World Series time. It's hot outside.
Oh, God, it's hot.
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma, again, as you folks know or may not know if you're new to the podcast, but it's either really, really cold or really, really hot.
Or really rainy and
we used to have spring.
tornado-y.
Yeah, we used to have springtime a long time ago, but
Yeah.
we kind of lost our springs, so
Yeah.
we're doing a little, we're in the start of the heat now. But with heat comes baseball and heat comes softball. The College World Series is in Oklahoma City every year. Pretty big deal in these parts, so we're going to run over them. The College Softball World Series and the men's, well, they're in the regionals right now,
Yep.
so we can go over that. And let's walk through it and let's see what we can do.
Get some college sports. Let's go.
Come on in. Let's talk about it. And we welcome you back to the Midnight Riders podcast. I'm Johnny.
Chuck.
Welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Getting ready for some ball.
You know, it's
Softball, baseball.
Softball.
Ready
Women's. Let's start with the women's side. It's a big deal here in Oklahoma City. We got the Hall of Fame here, or the what they call the OG&E Energy Field at Devon Park.
College World Series. I didn't know they even changed.
Softball.
It'll change next year. Don't matter.
Well, they got to get some money in there.
Yeah, they've been energy for money.
They sell it out every year.
Every year.
I mean,
they put in more seats. They put in. That's why OU built the new field with all the seats.
Yeah,
it's huge here.
It's absolutely huge. It's a good time.
Oh, it's fun.
I've never had an opportunity to go down there. I always watch it. I've never gone. You ever gone?
I've gone quite a few times.
Well, OU's there every year, damn near. So.
If you're not a fan of crowds and sitting elbow to elbow, I suggest you don't go.
In 100-degree weather?
It is standing room only.
Yeah.
But it is, if you go for a purpose and you go for the reason to watch, I mean, these girls get after it. These girls are some athletes.
You know, I've...
But yeah, it's you better be serious about it because it's hot.
I know. It's college, women's college softball is something I'm just so intrigued with, and there's a lot of reasons why. Also, number one, they play the sport. They still play the sport like we played it when we were kids. You know, they feel it, they love it, they enjoy the game, they play the game hard. There's none of this prima donna stuff that you see at other levels of other sports. They're there to play the game and try to win and do the best they can. And their team, they play as a team.
When they get excited, they show emotion. That's why I like it. They show emotion.
Yes.
And it's not your cocky talking shit to the other team, and it's just pure emotion and joy for the game. It's great to watch.
They get in there and they hit the ball.
Yeah.
They don't do the old just the armbands and they make sure they got all their necklaces tucked in and they get out there, they play hard. It's good ball. It's competitive as hell. It's a fun watch.
You know,
very enjoyable.
Yeah, I'll always go down to saying the hardest thing in sports to do is hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Sure,
but if you've never stood in a box, and I did it with a couple of girls before that I played ball with.
Yeah,
you ever stand in a box at the distance they throw wet?
Yeah,
whew, it ain't easy.
No, you got to turn quick. You got
girls that can bring it
you mentioned this to me before we came on here about the Texas coach bitching again.
Oh, good Lord. That guy, he just, they're the number one seed, and he's bitching again. They ought to move this. They ought to take this to another location. And he said, well, he made the comment, they ought to move this to another location now and then, but they're not going to. OU's playing here, OSU's playing. They're not going to move it.
No, they're not.
Well, shut up. You're the number one seed. Come in and do what you're supposed to do.
The thing, it doesn't matter where you play.
It's got to be played somewhere.
I mean, I don't understand. Either you're good, either you're better than that other team, or you're not.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're playing. Either you're better than they are, or they're not.
Yeah.
That's just how you Yeah, it's at the College Softball Hall of Fame. It's a great field. It's a
Mhm.
great stadium. It's built for what they need to do this for. That's where it is every year. They started. I mean, hell, the College World Series baseball side's been bitching about that for
Right.
umpteen hundred years.
But-
About it's always in Omaha. Why are we playing it in Omaha every year? Just shut up. And play
Yeah, well, he's bitching because of the home field advantage, but it's going to be for somebody. I don't care where you move to. It's just the fact that OU and OSU have been.
It's not a home field advantage.
No, but
they don't play there. They
Just-
play in Norman and they play in Stillwater.
Right.
They don't play there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have more people attend. They're going to pull for OU and OSU. Yes. But if you play it in Florida, there's going to be more people pulling for Florida and Florida State. If you play it in Texas, there's
Exactly, that's my point.
this is the same reason they play baseball when in Omaha. It's centrally located in the United States where everybody can get to it in the middle. Same reason this is in Oklahoma City. It's in the middle of the United States and people can get there.
And not every softball field is equipped to handle this many people.
No.
This big of a
No.
not for softball. They're getting there still, but
Yeah.
man, and if you've ever been to these games,
Yeah.
trust me, go there and sit during a Florida Alabama game.
Yeah.
You won't know that there's anybody from the state of Oklahoma in that.
No, because
There's
everybody
travel.
everybody travels for this, and for those who don't, and the empty seats, it's a hot ticket here in Oklahoma City just to go.
There is no empty
I don't care
seats
who I don't
anytime.
care who you're watching. If you
No.
go, you want to get into that ballpark
Uh-huh.
and watch this because the energy inside there is just off the charts.
Crazy.
It's just off the charts, and ESPN covers it great.
Mhm. They show every game.
They show every game, and they're really good about taking care of business up here.
Yep.
And
they don't put it on ESPN News or anything.
No,
That's
no,
ESPN
it's
1, 2, and
It's
ABC. They give
let's
they give it the market.
Let's look at the super regionals first. I mean, you had Texas going in with A&M, and I'm surprised A&M beat them.
A&M almost took that series.
They did. I mean, Texas is. I mean, I usually like to watch a lot of the second half of the season when it comes to the women's softball.
Sure.
Just to kind of get an idea.
Right.
I
Get the
enjoy
build-up.
watching the game, but then watching it go down. And Texas is good.
Oh yeah,
They're deep.
there's a reason they're number one.
Their pitching is solid. And A&M almost handed it to them.
They had them beat. They had
Yeah,
them
they did.
beat.
They did.
They came from behind on the second game. The first game they won.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a series. It kind
good
of
series.
surprised me.
And so they're going to go in there. I mean, A&M was a 16. Texas was the number one. And, I mean, Texas should have won, and they did. It was tough, but they did.
Right.
Number 2 seed was OU against Florida State. Again, I thought OU was going to have a little bit of trouble
I
here.
did too. I honestly thought
This year wasn't the undefeated OU team that we've had year in and year out.
they've got a little bit of a weakness in their pitching.
A little bit.
A little bit of a weakness is still better than a lot of the other teams. So
Oh yeah, I mean they still swept them.
right,
I mean they still
with
have,
ease.
they still have enough. I mean their bats are just
They swept them
they're,
with ease.
they're
There was
just ungodly.
there was no doubt in them.
I mean
So,
their bats are so good.
yeah, we'll get to that here
but,
shortly. With the
Let's go to the number 3 seed.
People.
You had Tennessee hosting Alabama, number 14, and
how Alabama beat Tennessee.
again I agree with you.
I mean, again, we'll talk about it here shortly. But Alabama, you just look at their stats and what they've done.
Mhm.
They got no business. I mean, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. Good pitching.
Well,
But-
you know as well as I do in baseball, it's all about getting hot at the right time.
right.
Same with softball.
Right.
You get hot at the right time, you can win this. I mean, you only got to win 4 or 5 games
Right.
to win this
And they
tournament.
did. They give them credit. But
They went into Tennessee, and I don't know if Tennessee was just cocky, if they just thought this is just another stepping stone to go to OKC, what it was. But, I mean, Alabama came in there to
they
play.
came to play, and they did
And,
the job. It surprised
You know,
me.
Tennessee's no pushover.
I mean, there was talk of Tennessee being the team that was going to, give Tennessee and Texas. That was the two teams
Yeah.
I kept hearing. They're the two that's going to give OU the run
Well,
to
I
keep
mean,
them from four-peating.
Well,
And-
I was actually hearing that Tennessee could have come into the number 2 seed.
right.
You know,
Yeah, there was talk.
I mean, wow. And they go in there and they just lay an egg.
Mhm. No,
I mean, they won one game, but I mean,
but that's the thing with Alabama, and I say again, we'll get to it. But
sure.
their pitching is
Yeah.
stout.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're good. Number 4 seed Florida. They didn't get to play Louisiana, who was right as 13 seed. They ended up playing Baylor, who snuck up on Louisiana.
I don't know how anybody in the Big 12 sneaks up on anybody in softball. How you don't? Baylor's good.
Baylor's good.
Baylor's good. They
Well, I
almost,
mean,
they almost pulled that out too.
Louisiana wasn't a pushover.
No, not at all.
I
But
mean, I watched a couple of their games throughout the season.
But-
I mean, but when you get to when you get to the supers, you're gonna have 16 really good teams, and the people that they got to beat in the regional to get there, they're good teams.
Oh, they're there for a reason.
And we'll get to that in the baseball regional here in a second.
Right.
But
Baylor
was no pushover.
Baylor was like the A&M series. They just they took them to the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida had to come from behind and get that, but they're good.
Florida's just a little bit better.
Yep.
There's a
good
little
squad.
bit better.
It's a good squad.
5th seed, Oklahoma State.
There you go.
Oklahoma State University, and they got to play Arizona instead of Arkansas, which Arkansas was really good. But Arizona's not bad.
Arizona's not bad.
I mean, year in and year out, Arizona has a good program, which is going to be in the Big 12 next year. So they're going to play these ladies a lot. So it's
OSU just walked right through them.
They just blew their doors off.
I'll tell you what, we'll get to Lexi Kilfoyle, but good Lord, that woman, she's nasty. And for a team that lost their ace to OU,
well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, to come back with her.
Number 6, UCLA just blew the doors off Georgia.
Yeah, that was
UCLA was another one that was seeded 6 going into the big tournament here, and I thought they could actually be a 4 or 5, but then you got Florida and Oklahoma State. So
right.
I mean,
I was gonna say, who do you put them ahead of?
I know.
Seriously,
UCLA is a good team. They're solid. They're everything about them is good. I mean, they're rated.
And they got the pedigree. So they're another one of those Pac-10s.
Well, they're one of those. And to be honest with you, I like seeing the baby blue here at the World Series. I really like seeing the colors.
Yeah.
UCLA.
And you'll get to see the old throwback to the first World Series, them wearing their shorts in the god-awful fields they used to play on.
Right. Now we go to the 7th seed, Missouri and Duke. Did you watch any of that?
I did.
Did you watch the third game?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm telling you, we'll talk about it, but
wow.
Duke
scares me.
Better watch out for Duke.
Duke is tough.
They are good.
You see, got a couple of big, tall girls on that team.
Duke is. I didn't know anything. I'm not going to.
I didn't watch. I only saw them in.
I didn't know anything.
The only thing I saw was in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about them, whatever, but
I heard they made a super regional. That's the first I heard about them, and then they come in here and they did what they did, and watching them, man.
I think OU'd been better off facing Missouri than Duke, but it's going to be good.
They're tough.
Yeah.
And the other 8th seed, Stanford
LSU.
LSU.
Kind of an ugly series.
It was.
Stanford's not pretty at all.
No.
They're rough. But they got the one pitcher,
and that's all you. If you have that one pitcher,
they got 2 of them, but they got candidates.
Well, you have that. You have the premier pitcher, and then you have a good 2 and a good 2 and an average 3. If that 2 and 3 can get you through one game, you're gold.
If you can,
you're gold.
Correct.
So to have that one super duper lady waiting to, Stanford. Yeah, they deserve to be there. They won.
Oh, sure they do.
They won. But I don't think that they're at the level of the others. But hey,
no.
Like I say, whoever's the hottest at the time usually wins the series.
And pitching is a predominant thing in this tournament every year.
It is.
So they better be careful.
Well, let's. You're a little bit more in depth on the stats and the numbers of these things. Let's start with the upper bracket. There, you've got number 6 UCLA against number 14 Alabama. It's going to be the first game on Thursday. It's going to start at noon here our time. I believe it's Central Time, or 11 o'clock our time. Whatever, 12 o'clock Eastern.
Right.
Be 11 o'clock Central Time here in Oklahoma City. Alabama number 14 against UCLA number 6. I don't think Alabama can keep it going, but I've been wrong in a lot of things we've chosen. So who the hell knows?
It's just going back and looking at some of them. UCLA. Their biggest thing, of course, is it's UCLA. They're there not every year, but they're there a lot.
Yep.
Team average of 323. They've got a couple. Brady Maya, 431, 17 home runs, 68 RBIs.
Is that all?
They've got a couple. Their pitching staff it's not too deep. They only really go 2.
But you don't need any more than that to win the College World Series.
Right. If you do it right, the problem is if one gets to struggling, then you got to figure something. But
sure.
They got that Taylor Tinsley, who's she's got 2.53 ERA, which by softball standards is a little high. So they give up some runs.
Yep.
They got a pretty good offense though, and it's going to be a good. That's why I think it's going to be a good matchup because you look at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
offense is putrid. They don't have much in the way of offense.
But they still had enough to beat Tennessee.
Right. They have nobody that's got double-digit home runs. But they've thrown 15 shutouts, team ERA of 189.
Yes.
They got 2 pitchers that, Caleb Beaver, Jocelyn Brisky, they pitch.
Well,
they play defense.
Well,
and they scored just enough.
That's the thing. They scored just enough. And you get a team like UCLA who doesn't have the greatest lineup, but they also have great pitching.
Right. They get a little bit more balanced. I mean, Alabama's top hitter's highest average is 305.
Yeah, right.
I mean, which you'll see by softball
standards, that's low.
Great.
That's low.
Not a lot of power. They score. What we used to call in baseball term, they play a lot of small ball. They do a lot of slap hitting. They do a lot of moving the runner.
Move the runner.
Stop.
Yeah, and it's going
to be interesting.
Alabama, it's going to be a good first game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to watch how they. Now the weather here in Oklahoma City this week, we got a chance of rain every day. Every year around this time, we have a chance for rain. And what happens is these rain delays, it can cause issues. It can cause issues with pitching. It can cause issues with rest. It can cause issues, all kinds of problems. And every year at this time is our storm season, and that's something we got to watch.
And that's the downside of it. Because if it doesn't rain, or if it does rain, well, the downside of that is when it stops raining, it's usually about 106.
Yes.
So
extremely hot.
It's 90 degrees of humidity.
Well, it's extremely hot, and the ground is a lot harder. Yeah. And the ball, when these balls get zipped, it's harder to field them. It's harder to get them under control.
Yep.
It's a great ground crew out there, but the thing is anybody can win any one of these games. We move on to the second game in that top bracket. Looking at Duke and Oklahoma.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I don't think Duke can. I don't think Duke can man up to them.
I don't think Duke wins it. But you're going to see how good Duke is.
Oh, it depends on how. It depends on who OU pitches. I mean, they're going to come with. No, I forgot her name. Their number 1 pitcher.
Well, that's just it. They don't. I mean, they don't have a true number 1. I mean, I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah.
They go pretty deep.
Yeah.
But that's kind of been their downfall this year. Is they've given up runs. They give up home runs. They give up they give up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you haven't had that issue in a while.
Well, but still, even when they still outscore people, their lineup's damn good.
Their lineup is.
They outscore people.
Right.
I mean, you can score 4. Okay, we'll score 5.
Right.
You score 2. Okay, we'll score 7. I mean, they lost some games this year, which is not normal.
But they lost 6, but you listen to, you listen to the world out there, and you think they lost 25 games this year just because that's how it comes across.
Well, because they never lose,
right? They don't lose. They've got Kelly Maxwell. They've got
Kelly Maxwell,
Nicole May.
Maxwell's going to be the interesting one with OSU getting back in. See, for those of you who don't know, Kelly Maxwell was OSU's number 1, and she transferred this year over to OU, and now they both make the series, and everybody's wanting them in the finals, and they want Maxwell to go against the Cowboys. Everybody wants
which may happen.
Everybody wants the thing, but I mean, she's so good.
Yeah, but I mean, look here. This is what I got. OU, 54-6.
Right.
Lead the nation in on base percentage, second in slugging percentage, second in fielding percentage. 22 shutouts, 4 players hitting over 400, 6 players with double-digit home runs.
I
mean, and you read off their names, and even if you're not overly familiar with the sport, Jada Coleman, Kinsey Hansen, Alyssa Brito, Tiara Jennings, Riley Boone, you know who they are.
Sure, because you hear about them.
Because that's who you hear about.
And then again, Duke. Let's talk about Duke.
Ooh.
Duke came out of nowhere to me. Apparently they weren't. They were were rated 10 going into the supers. They're, from what I saw, the 3 games they played, they're another well-rounded team. And like we said before, every team that gets into the World Series is worthy. They're not. Nobody backdoors into this thing. Nobody gets into a super regional if they're not good. Nobody going to the College World Series on the women's side I'm sorry, they deserve it. Everybody that's there deserves it. Now, are they a level of Oklahoma? I'm going to say no, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But they're one of the rounded 10. They're third in the nation in ERA at 155.
Wow.
2 pitchers with under 130 ERAs, 20 shutouts. Their leading player is Claire Davison, hitting 439, 18 home runs, 67 RBIs.
See, that's the thing.
They got like 3 players hitting over 400. They can do a little bit of everything. So they're
we'll see.
It'll be a good
they got the 2:30 game on Thursday. So let's move to the lower bracket where you've got number 1 Texas against the number 8 seed Stanford.
This is going to be good because you got one of the best offensive teams in the country
Mm-hmm.
against probably, I don't know what it's considered, but probably one of, if not the premier pitcher in the country. This is going to be fun.
Well, so who do you give it? Who do you give the nod to?
My heart says Stanford, but I don't know if Texas is stout. What, the top 10 in the country in home runs and ERA. Outscored opponents 485 to 137.
Yeah, but they don't get to play in Texas.
Right, exactly.
So
They got Reese Atwood, who's player of the year, 435, 23 home runs, 90 RBIs.
wow.
But then you go to Stanford, who has, again, kind of like Alabama, no offense.
Yeah, but when you only give up 2 runs a game, how much offense do you need?
I mean, Najari Candidate, she's got a 0.65 ERA. She's thrown 204 innings and has 310 strikeouts and given up 99 hits. Damn.
So that's what I'm saying. If you only give up 2, you don't really need a lot of. You need 1 3-run homer and you're there. I mean, so it's going to be fun.
Texas did not get a good draw, in my opinion.
Well, but who else? I mean, there's nobody in this.
I would say, but who?
The only team in this top bracket, okay, let's look at the other part of the bracket down. It's Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, Florida.
They got the Texas and Stanford is a 7:00 game. Oklahoma State and Florida have the 9:30 game. Florida is good. Oklahoma State is good.
Coaches know each other.
They know each other. This, Florida is They come here a lot.
Yep.
They get to the World Series a lot. OSU's getting to the World Series a lot. Everybody's familiar.
Yep.
Nobody in this list except for maybe Duke and Alabama might have the jitters playing in the big feature ESPN.
Maybe Duke, Alabama shouldn't. But Florida's their offensive machine, man.
Yeah.
They are. Well, they led the SEC in 12 offensive categories.
Yeah.
107 stolen bases, 4 hitters with more than 53 RBIs.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll put up some offense, but the flip side of that, OSU's got Lexi Kilfoyle.
Yeah. Try to hit her.
105 ERA.
Yeah, try to hit her.
She's.
And again, we go back to the Stanford thing. How many runs do you need to score?
Yep. And OSU's got some offense. Caroline Wayne, Carly Godwin. They'll put up some runs. So if they spot 2, 3, 4 runs, you're in trouble.
Sure.
Because if you can't get to Kilfoyle, she'll shut it down.
Well, the thing about it is how long. Let's assume for a second in this first round. Let's assume for a second that Stanford or OSU or I don't know, OU or whoever gets a 3-4 run lead. Do they pull their number 1? Or do they leave?
Well, I think one of the few ones that would be OU just because they've gone 3 or 4 deep.
Yeah.
It hasn't always worked out in their favor.
Right.
They've gone back to Maxwell. I've seen them go back to Maxwell.
Well, I mean,
a couple times.
They can re-enter.
Right.
It's an interesting rule that I've never quite understood. But I mean,
I think some of them. I think your teams like your Stanford, they wouldn't. They'll ride. I think they'll ride Canada as far. And I don't blame them when she's that good. You ride her as long as you can.
Yeah.
And this is going to be fun.
It should be. The whole damn tournament's going to be fun. I mean, it starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
I think the only team, in my opinion, the only team who does not have a shot to win it all would be Alabama. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they got enough. I think they didn't catch a break. They deserve to be there, but I just don't think they got enough firepower and enough in them to take over to defeat these teams. Not through the bracket.
The top of the bracket, you should have had, 2, 3, 6, 7, and you ended up with 3, 8, 10, and 14.
Right.
So it's not the best teams that should have
According
been there,
to them.
so to speak, according to rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a fun tournament.
But look at again, Stanford. What's supposed to? They're the 8th.
Yeah.
Stanford was 8th, weren't they?
Yeah, they were 8.
Yeah. Duke.
Duke was not supposed to be there. Alabama wasn't supposed to
But
be
how
there.
much of that was a
Right.
bias towards teams
Sure.
out in the ACC who don't get a whole lot of softball acknowledgement?
Right. You're again forced to look at rankings, which are not always spot on.
But it's good to see teams like that in this.
Yes.
You get some mixture sometimes. And
Yes, I want to see difference. I
Yep.
want to see different teams there. They seeing the same old gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
But anyway, it starts Thursday. We'll come in and maybe do a quick pickup over. Well, let's see. After the weekend, we'll know who the final 2 teams are on Monday, I think. Don't we? And then we go to the 3-game, the 2 out of 3 next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the winner.
Yeah, check that out, Big 12, how they do a tournament.
Yeah, don't get me started. Big 12. If you need help drawing up a tournament, I'm here. Give me a comment down here, and I can draw it up for you. Where everybody gets double elimination in a double elimination tournament.
Baseball.
I mean, it's
stupid. Yeah.
Why I don't know. I understand you got TV things you got to get lined up with, but create some different time frames. If necessary, then you can put something else on the Ocho if you don't need an if necessary
exactly.
game.
ESPN News is always looking for something.
They've got something else to show. But my thing is when it's a double elimination tournament and a team goes into the finals undefeated and then they lose a game.
One game.
They get to play again. Unless you're in the Big 12 and the double elimination.
It's one and done.
It's a double elimination tournament unless you win every game.
Yeah. And then you only get to lose that one.
I mean, Oklahoma State got the break. They lost early, then they beat OU in the winners bracket finals, or in the finals.
Yeah, OU should have taken care of business.
And OU lost their first game to a team OSU who already lost a game, and OSU gets the title, and OU can't come back. It just blows my mind. Yep. But anyway, there's the girls. The ladies' softball will be hoping to get that fired up on Thursday, which is actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, or tomorrow noon. I think fires up.
11 o'clock our time, I think.
Please comment on here.
Yeah,
let us know what you think.
Let us know who you think's
We'll be
going
giving some updates.
That's right. Let's move on to the baseball side. Baseball.
Yeah, they're just starting the regionals.
And there's some interesting stuff there. I mean, it's a little bit like softball in that I really don't pay much attention toward it until it starts getting to the end and you watch a few.
Get towards the end of it.
You start following it a little bit more. You start seeing who's going to be there, who's not, who's playing well, who isn't, who squeaked in and shouldn't have been there. I don't know. The top 16, 17 teams this year have been pretty consistent. I mean,
they're missing mix and match.
Well, you've got
it's not
the first regional. You got Tennessee, Northern Kentucky, Indiana, and Southern Miss. I mean, Tennessee's really played well all year. I don't really.
Tennessee, A&M. I've watched A&M quite a bit. A&M's got a really good squad.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, I think Tennessee is just. I think Tennessee is the popular pick on the list.
Well, they are the popular pick, but they're again
always are good.
Well, let's just run here quickly the 16 seeds that actually are hosting regionals. You got Tennessee, you got East Carolina, Oklahoma, Florida State, Arkansas, Virginia, Arizona, North Carolina, Texas A&M, UC Santa Barbara, Clemson, Oklahoma State, Georgia, North Carolina State, and Oregon State are your 16 regionals. And it's hard to make any picks.
It is right now because baseball. I mean, baseball's tough anyway. But you're going to these regionals with only a 4-team regional, and anybody can kind of. This isn't like your normal tournaments where your number one's got such a big separation. You don't have that a whole lot here.
Well, the thing is, like we talked before, who's hot?
Right.
Who's going to get the good pitching? Right. Who's going to. And
again, right now you're still talking Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's still.
Exactly. But it's who's going to be most consistent, who has a better record playing at home, because these are all home games for the hosts. You know, I looked at a couple of regionals here. I think that are kind of not definites. I mean, the Florida State regional. You got Florida State, you got Stetson, you got UCF, you got Alabama. I don't think Florida State's head and shoulders better than all four of those.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may have a struggle. I think the Raleigh regional with North Carolina State, Bryant, James Madison, and South Carolina, I think that one's kind of up in the air. I mean, South Carolina's a pretty good ball club.
South Carolina's pretty good. I still had North Carolina State winning that. They got a good stat. I like them.
They do,
but
I think there's another one.
I did have the Arizona.
Yeah,
the Arizona one.
Yeah.
I don't know if many, I don't know how many y'all follow college baseball, whatever.
Right.
Dallas Baptist is who I'm picking to come out of that.
Yeah.
Dallas Baptist is strong.
Yeah, they are. They're good.
They're good.
They're good.
Team.
I looked at some of the stats and some of these guys. I mean, they've won 44 games.
Yeah, and they're consistent. And I mean, they made the run last year or the year before, one of the 2 years. But they are good every year.
Well, the thing about
good.
The thing about college baseball is that you got a team like Dallas Baptist, and they say, well, who did they play? Well.
Look at their schedule, though.
It's not like you have to play top-tier teams like you do in football or basketball. College baseball is one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most evenly balanced sports at the college level.
Sure it is. Look at the teams that are in this thing.
Yeah, and that's why a Dallas Baptist can come in, and would it be an upset? No. I mean, any of these teams, you've got 16 regions, you got 4 in each bracket. I mean, anybody that got this far is good enough to come out of these brackets.
Yeah.
They're good enough to move on. I mean, you mentioned Dallas Baptist, who is. I mean, Wofford's not that bad.
No.
They're playing LSU in the North Carolina region. Now, North Carolina, I think, is really good. But Wofford, they won 41 games this year.
I had LSU coming out of that. I think LSU is going to beat North Carolina.
I still think North Carolina's just.
But yeah,
that's just it's just. It's just outside thinking. North Carolina, I mean, they're playing at home. They got, again, but everybody at this level's got good pitching.
I only had like 4 or 5 upsets coming out of the regions. I had Wake Forest winning the East Carolina region.
Okay.
North Carolina, Wilmington, I got them beating Georgia.
Well, and like I say, over the Florida State region, I still think Stetson might win the whole damn thing.
That's
there.
I
mean,
that would be cool.
Well,
would be good.
I like fun things to happen like that. A lot of time it's with my heart. But see, then you move to a super regional, which can any of these teams that we think aren't the top seed of their regional, can they win a super? Because then you're playing the next level up.
Yeah.
And how much pitching do you have? Because you got to play this one, then you got to move on and play another one. And it's not like in softball where the same guy can throw every single day.
But it just depends on how it falls. How they could get lucky, and you beat your Dallas Baptist, and then. I don't know who they're matched up with in the supers, but High Point comes through and wins the Clemson regional, and then there you go. You're about to.
Well, sure, but I mean, I don't know. Do they reseed after the regionals, or do they just go with who they're already lined up against? If they line up who they're up against, Tennessee is one, and they would play the 16. That's probably what they do.
I think they. I want to say they reseed, but
no, they don't. See, they're lined up here. See, 1 plays 16, 9 plays 8. 5 plays.
Okay, so they're just putting it's this bracket.
So if Dallas Baptist comes out of it, they're going to end up playing either North Carolina, Long Island, Wofford, or LSU. So there you go. See how we figured that out?
Yeah, that's good. That's why you watch us learn shit like this.
That's right. We learn shit all the time. So like I say, it's just now starting. The regionals are just now starting. It's going to be good baseball.
If you don't watch a lot of it, if you like baseball at all, but you don't watch a lot of it because of the aluminum bats and because of some of the watch this. The College World Series is fun to watch.
Well, again, it's
and pure
playing the game like it's supposed to be played.
Yes.
It's pure.
Yes.
They're there to win. The excitement, the camaraderie, the team. Let's go out there and play. They play hard. They're playing for a reason. They're not playing for a paycheck. They're playing
for a contract.
They're playing. They're not playing for a contract. Some of these kids, this will be the last time they ever play baseball.
Sure.
Some of them will never get to play again, so they're going to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so good about the college level. Not everybody goes on to the pros, and this may be the last time they get to play. So they play hard every day.
Yep.
And just the excitement of watching them play. So And these are all actually double eliminations, and the brackets weren't drawn up by the
True
Big 12.
double elimination.
And
You
so
got to
everyone
lose twice.
Everyone will actually have to lose twice.
So everybody in the Big 12 will be a little confused by it all when it's all said and done, but they got to lose twice. So you got 2 shots.
Yeah, we kept railing. We're going to keep railing on that because it's not that hard to make.
And I tell you what, that's another another regional. The OU regional.
Mm-hmm.
I think OU's going to come out of it.
But
ORU
mm-hmm.
is who they played first.
Well, but Duke's not that bad.
Duke's pretty good. ORU is really good, but the ORU is another one of those teams that
mm-hmm.
you don't hear a ton about them.
No.
They make long runs every now and then.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
they were in the tournament a couple years ago, but
they didn't even finish 500 this year.
All right, but they managed to win, and like you said, get hot at the right time. So,
mm-hmm.
you know, OU has a history of overlooking people.
Oh yeah.
So
and they're playing at home, and ORU's right here in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
So they don't, or in Tulsa, so they don't have that far to drive.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me for ORU to win a game. I don't think they're going to come through. I think if anybody comes through that bracket and it's not OU, it's going to probably be Duke.
Yeah, Duke's really good too.
But
and you know, there would be the story for the national media. Duke makes it to the College World Series, girls and boys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what scares me. That it could be a big deal.
Yep.
That Duke beat OU in softball, and then Duke beats OU in baseball.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. It's setting up.
Let's not let that happen.
It's setting up.
So.
I'm hoping OSU really get. I like OSU.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got a really good team this year. I'm really hoping they don't choke anything off and they pull through this regional.
Well, OSU's
Nebraska. They got Nebraska and Florida in the regional.
I think this year's OSU team's the most consistent I've seen in a few years.
In a while. Yeah, Holiday's done a good job.
Every year, the past 4 or 5 years, there's been a hole. There's been a gap somewhere. Then they just can't get over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they are very well balanced.
I mean, what did they win? 38, 39 games this year?
They won 40.
They were in 40? Right around
They're 40 and 17. Okay. You know, but then again, you know, they got Nebraska in their regional. They were
Nebraska and Florida.
They're a 39-win team. Florida's only played 500 ball, but Florida got hot.
Florida's Florida. Again, you go back to Florida's Florida. You better be careful.
But even though they're playing a Niagara team that had 38 wins, I don't think Niagara's got the pitching to get through this.
I wouldn't think so, but there again, I know nothing about Niagara.
Yeah, well,
so
I just checked. Like I say, I just checked a few stats on a few of these on the way in. I mean, it's a little large right now. The bracket is right now because we've got the regionals and to get too in depth with it. But you know, that's what it is. It is what it is, and this is where it's at. And the top 16 teams, quote, should move forward, but that never seems to happen too well. Then the Supers will come, and we'll get a little bit more in depth when the Supers come out after this week, and we'll see who wins what. But it's going to be a lot of good baseball. It's going to be a lot of good softball. It's going to be fun to watch.
It's a great time of year. I love this time of year right now.
Yeah.
You're finishing up with basketball, and you got all this going on. So
yeah, it's good.
If you get a chance to travel to Oklahoma if you're close enough to come see the College World Series, you'll enjoy it.
It's a ball. It's a blast. You just be prepared to sweat.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot.
Bring you some sunscreen.
We got a lot of bars. You'll be fine.
And then maybe an umbrella because it's probably gonna rain. It always does. And so a lot of games don't end until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because the last game starts at 8:30 or 9, and then it gets rain, and then you got to wait an hour and a half.
Then you wait to play at 2 in the morning.
And then usually 9 times out of 10 on those late games, the home team scores in the bottom of the 7th and ties it, and then you got to go to the 8th, 9th, and 10th inning. So yeah, just be prepared to stay up all night.
But it's a good time.
But it's so much fun.
It's a good time.
It's so much fun. But anyway, we appreciate you coming in for this little preset for the old tourneys, and we appreciate you watching.
Comment, like, share, send this off. I know there's a ton of softball people here in Oklahoma.
Yes.
So get the word out.
Yes.
We'll be doing another follow-up with this, I'm sure, as a tournament.
Sure. Well, what we'll do, we'll get to the end of
the tournament crashes through.
Yeah, the tournament gets going through. Anything exciting happens, we'll pop another cast on here about what's happened to this point. And worst case, we'll get in here. We'll get here on at the end of the tourney and talk about the finals and see what we think's going on with those. It'll be a best 2 out of 3 at the end of this 2 brackets, and we'll see what happens on that.
We'll tell you what, just for fun, since we're not going to do anything till the end, who do you think's winning the World Series? Not baseball, softball, since it's already set. Who do you got?
Let me look at it. You got Alabama, UCLA, Duke, and OU. Oh, boy.
I haven't hit a prediction in God knows how long, so we're just going to throw something out there.
I'm going to go OU and OSU, and I'm thinking OSU is going to win it this year.
Woo, baby.
Simply because of the Kelly Maxwell factor.
Tell you what, that would be fun to watch.
I'm going OU OSU this year in the finals, and I got OSU winning it because, for no other reason, I think OSU's got a better. I think they're better top to bottom than they've been the past 4 or 5 years going into this tournament, and I think they're hungry. I think they're more hungry than OU. I think they beat Florida. Texas, we've played Texas 2 or 3 times this year. We know who they are. They don't scare us, and it's a homer pick, but I'm going OSU winning. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was going OU Florida.
OU Florida?
I was going OU Florida. And I'm just going with the old adage that until they actually get beat, you got to prove it to me. So I'm picking OU to win it again.
That's what's fun about doing a podcast in Oklahoma come softball time.
Yeah.
We can always say OU, OSU.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, until somebody actually knocks OU off that perch, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Sure.
Just to see somebody new, but until somebody proves that point when they get to this point.
Yeah. Well, and that's fun. Like I said, we've said it 2 or 3 times here, and if we say it again, then it sounds overdone. We don't mean it to be, but this tournament is one of the best.
Yes.
One of the best things out there.
Yep.
Every game means something.
This is right up there with March Madness as far as I'm concerned.
Every game out there, they play hard. Play harder than any athlete you can find at the college level.
And you never know who's going to win any game. Anybody can win any game. I don't care what level where your team is supposedly at. Oh, you could go out in 2 games.
Well, the thing
and nobody would be shocked.
Well, the thing about this is, and you mentioned it very early in the podcast, whenever you say it's like hitting a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. When these ladies throw these balls, I mean, they're closer. If they're throwing 68, 69, or whatever, it's basically a 95-mile-an-hour
95
fastball.
to 100 mile an hour.
And the girls that are at this level, at the College World Series level, the hitters are so precise. They get a good cut on any pitch coming in that fast. It flies.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes. And some of the home runs you see hit out there are just incredible. and some of the plays at the plate, the plays at third base, the arms on these ladies in the outfield gunning the ball home.
Well, I've always been fascinated. I know we're rambling here, but I've always been fascinated by the stolen base. Well, they can't leave till the pitcher releases the ball.
Yeah.
The timing they have to leave that base and still either steal the base or get thrown out. From Kenzie Hansen at OU, I've seen her throw out numerous. It amazes me. That athleticism.
That's one complaint I do have about the women's college World Series.
What's that?
That's the umpires, not their calls. I think the umpiring there is incredible. It's just they all go.
No.
It's umpiring is an art. You all look like robots out there. Come on, give me a little. Give me some of this. Give me this.
Well, Angel Hernandez retired. Maybe he'll.
Come
do a little softball.
And the umpire that's down there, and they say strike. You go strike. Let's cut the suspense. Just say strike. Bam, and it's a strike. Okay, bam, it's a strike. Okay, that bothers me. But,
there you go.
That's minor.
There you go.
But anyway, we appreciate you coming in. Subscribe, like, comment, talk to your friends, talk to your family. Get everybody to like and comment. We want to get over to 100 subscribers. We're at 51. Moving pretty good for how long we've been on live here. We'd love to get up to 100 to 150 subscribers sometime before the end of the year. So we'd like to move up faster if we can.
Share this out there. Share it to all your friends, family, and anybody else. Even if you don't like them, share it to them.
If you don't like them and you don't like us, then share it to them.
Share it to them. Maybe they can hate us too.
There we go.
And I'm sure there's a couple of those.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we will talk to you soon. We appreciate you coming in.
See you later.
Have a good one.